Hi again, everybody. The high school football season continues in 2013. District 12 5A action for the Robert E. Lee Red Raiders. Nothing this week. The Red Raiders have a bye this coming Friday night before they head to Rockwall for the final 4 games of the 2013 regular season. Still hoping to make the playoffs. The Red Raiders are 3-3 overall and 0-2 in district play following a tough home loss to North Mesquite this past Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium, 31-22. Coach Darrell Piske is with us. Coach, disappointing ball game because, again, it was a very competitive game, but mistakes in the end really set you back.
Yeah, our lack of consistency in some spots is really killing us, and you know we kind of knew, we knew going in as coaches that we were going to have, with this many sophomores playing, we're going to have some inconsistent moments. You know, and so really it's disappointing to all of us. You know, the way I guess really the hardest part, I think, is the way we started the year off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, played so good those first 2 games, and then you know, to start being inconsistent and stuff like that in some key spots it's frustrating to all of us. So, you know, but like we talked about this morning, coaches meeting, all you can do is roll your sleeves up and go back to work today and try to improve and get better. And you know, first thing this week is try to get everybody healed and get them healthy.
Yeah, talk about the health, because I know there were a bunch of kids limping around Friday night.
Yeah, we've got some. You know, we had some going into this game, and you know, got another one this week, just an ankle sprain. So I think that'll be all right. But you know, as much as we need to work to continue to improve and get consistent, we got to get those guys well. You
look back on the game though, and to your kids' credit, they certainly didn't give up after falling behind. Your guys rally, and you're 1 point down at 17-16. Missed extra point keeps you from tying the ball game.
Yeah.
But they certainly didn't quit. The attitude seems to be much different than last year.
Well, and that's the first step, you know, to getting this thing fixed, is get them where we can mark that one off the list. We're going to play hard for all 4 quarters and get after it. So that's the first step in getting this thing back on track. And now it's just to get consistency, to get the guys to every day determine they're going to be as good as they can be, number 1 in the classroom, number 2 on the football field. You know, we look up last week and they're still scrambling around, getting grades up and stuff, so they can be, you know, passing at the end of the 6 weeks, to where that now they've got to get in the mindset of we want to be really good in the classroom, which will make us really good on the field because we'll show leadership in both areas. And so that's our next step, is getting to where they want to be as good as they can be in everything they do. And so we got to get better at that.
What, as you look back on the game, we'll look at some video coming up here in a moment, but what did you like? What went well Friday night?
Well, you know, again, it's just the competing till the end, coming back. You know, I thought about you in the game when we missed that extra point. I thought I knew Coach was going to jinx us eventually, but no, you know, they fought.
That's right, I had been mentioning that.
2 weeks in a row, but no, you know, they fought back, you know, and got within 17-16. And then when North Mesquite goes on, scores, it's 24-16. You still feel like, hey, it's no big deal. We're already talking about, hey, when we score, we're going to need a 2-point play. You might in the back of your mind be getting that ready, and then you know, to let them go score again, you know, was kind of a letdown. But kids battled back, and then they went and scored there, at the end, and then, you know, didn't get the 2-point play. So kind of put us in a bind there. But just the attitude of keep competing, and you know, some of the seniors, you know, stepping up, doing a good job. And so you know, we just got, like I told the kids, we're going to continue to believe in them. You know, after the game, you know, I know the kids are disappointed, but heck, coaches get pretty disappointed too. And there's no magic words to say at that moment. But the biggest thing, we got to continue to believe in them and not, you know, give up on them. And they got to continue to believe in us. You know, this is the time, you know, early in the year when we start off so good, everybody's telling them how good they are and all that. Well, now's the point where people start telling them how bad they are and how dumb we are. And so we got to continue to believe in each other and show up every day and just go to work, and we'll have a chance to do what we got to do. We got to win 3 games.
What about what areas specifically do you need to improve on after Friday night?
Well, I think quarterback, we got to have more consistent play out of Zach, and you know, he'll have his moments. You know, early in the game the other night, you could tell he's trying to listen to what we're telling him, because we had talked so much to him about don't press. A punt's not a bad football play, and then you look up early in the game the other night, and we snapped the ball over his head, and he went and picks it up and starts scrambling, and we can see that if he comes on, that he's going to probably have a chance to get the edge, but he's trying to do what we've coached him to do, and he just throws it out of bounds. So, you know, you got to meet that fine line between over-coaching them and letting them just play. But, you know, we got to get better at tackling on defense. You know, their guys broke some tackles the other night, and, you know, we just got to get smarter smarter the way we do things, you know, as far from a standpoint of there's some things that you think's common sense stuff if you've grown up watching football and doing that kind of thing that we got to continue to coach, because, you know, it's not on PlayStation. Some of them don't have it. You know, a lot of them don't watch games on Saturday and Sunday and listen to the commentators and hear what they're talking about and just learn basic, you know, football principles. So we have to continue to work on that. But really the lack of consistency in some spots, and then just tackling. And then, you know, we gave up another fade route there right before half that we just got to find a way to make the play.
Zach doesn't look totally healthy to me either. I mean, that explosiveness that he had the first 2 weeks of the season, that extra burst right now, is he banged up pretty
Yeah,
bad?
that thigh bruise, you know, and then, you know, it's in there, even though we know it's just a bruise and he knows it's just a bruise. When you get out there and it starts hurting, you know, you got, I guess, a tendency in your mind to believe it's, you know, it's a pull, I'm fixing to pull it or something like that. So, and that's what this week's for, is to get him and all the guys healthy, that we can get back the Viella kid and get those guys back, get Amir healthy, and get everybody that we can possibly have healthy, have them ready for Rockwall.
Juwan, I know Tavon Wesley is your starter, and he's really done a nice job for you, but how about Juwan Banks coming in too and giving you a change of pace? He had a touchdown run.
Yeah, Banks, you know, he runs the ball hard and stuff, and, you know, we've got to get more physical on his blocking, but, you know, as far as running the ball, and he's got good hands out of the backfield, and we've got to get a little more consistent at hitting those guys out of the backfield some, you know, kind of like North Mesquite did to us on that key fourth down early in the game. They throw to that little back out of the backfield and get him in a little space, makes him hard to tackle. So we'll have to continue to work on that stuff. But yeah, Juwan, you know, ran the ball well.
We were talking about during the game Friday night on the radio that at least for a while you were not able to get the ball downfield and stretch the field. And about the time we said that, you hit those two passes to Bryce Wilkerson. That's something that you had early on that you have to do again.
Yeah, that's right. We've got to get more consistent. Like Coach Robson and I talked about it. You know, we've got to throw the ball more. Even though we felt like going in, we could run the ball on them consistently. You got to throw it enough. Without Zach, you know, Zach made some checks early and made good checks, but then he threw the ball high. You know, on the little quick hitches out there on the uncovered and stuff. So. We've got to get to where we just call the plays early, and that way he's not thinking so much, because a lot of that I think he's doing a little bit too much thinking instead of just playing football and reacting like he did the first couple of weeks, just having a good time and being a kid. So we got to do a good job we got to do a good job the way we handle him and set him up to where he don't have to think a whole lot. And you know, some of that's just going to be calling more pass plays early to kind of spread the defense out.
Yeah, can you give them too much information a ball game?
Yeah, I think you can. You know, you get those guys, a lot of those, like a great tailback, like Smiley. You know, we sometimes try to tell Smiley where point of attack is, but really those good ones, you just got to handle the ball and know, hey, sometimes they're going to see it wrong, but most of the time they're going to see it right. And if you get them thinking too much, they're not just playing and being athletes.
Yeah, and what about a word about Raleigh Poster, your senior? He had to come in the other night, and I thought played pretty well.
Yeah,
he delivered a drive at the end of the game. Actually kind of made the thing interesting at the end of the ball.
Yeah, that's right. And that's, like I say, that's a tribute to Riley, is coming in and keeping his head up, knowing that when he comes in, that's what he's got to do. He's got to be able to throw the football and things like that. And you know, run-wise, he's not going to be the run threat, but he can come in and do things, you know, when we need him. And really, you got to pat him on the back. I mean, he could be over pouting because he's not in the game.
Absolutely. No, I was pleased for him.
Yeah, that's right. He just comes in and does a good job and, you know, threw some good balls.
Yeah, okay. Again, the game didn't turn out the way the Red Raiders had hoped. They lose to North Mesquite 31-22, but there were a lot of good plays in that ball game on both sides of the football, and Coach Piske, as always, brings along some video highlights of the ball game on Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium, and here you are at home and in those red uniforms.
Yeah, this is defense here, and I'm going to look at the whole team defense. They really, you know, at times played pretty good the other night. Held them early to a field goal after they get this fourth down. That's Desmond Dunn, and then just the team pursuit. Another angle, same play. And really defensively, outside of, you know, maybe that one drive, they played good enough to win the football game. We just, you know, need to be more consistent offensively and needed to stop right there Yeah.
Dunn's been interesting for you in that he played some running back last year.
Yeah,
He's been all over the field.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
Again, that's little Dorsey and a couple of those guys pursuing to the football.
I keep wanting to call some of these 10th graders sophomores, but by now they're really not sophomores
Yeah,
anymore, are they?
they're almost juniors now. So
They're veterans.
that's right. So,
But Dorsey's one of them.
yep. Again, you look, there's about 4 guys in on that play, and you'll be able to see it closest here. There's Adam up top, Tristan's at the nose.
And Samples at the bottom, I think, right?
You got Samples down here at the bottom. You got Benson and Derman in there at the linebackers.
That's the fourth down play,
Fourth
right?
down is a big stop right there. Get us the ball. And, front line did a good job getting penetration. Linebackers cleaned it up.
Very nicely done.
Mrs. Tavon makes a good cut here. Little jump cut. Really, you see it from the end zone view. It's a really good cut. He makes a little jump cut there at the line of scrimmage.
About a 16-yard gain for him. Back on defense.
Yep, it's Ajuan. Ajuan actually hurts his groin right there, and really I thought he showed some toughness. He stayed in the football game, played the second half, and Saturday he was up there getting treatment and looked like an old man walking down the sidewalk, couldn't hardly walk, but just the toughness to stay in the game. And then here's Zach on one of his plays. We knew we had to be consistent and be patient because, they're defensive guys. You get them blocked, they're not going to stay blocked, and they got decent speed. They're not real big, but they get after it.
Looking at Zach's numbers on the night, pretty good overall. He wound up with 31 yards rushing and 117 passing, 10 of 14. That's not bad.
No, that's not bad. Here's Antron Henry in there at nose guard. That's the difference in Zach's game the other night was his rushing. I mean, a lot of them runs that he was making that without that thigh bruise, he might take some of those to the house, but right now they're just good gains. Tight angle here of Antron making a play.
Back on defense again, they're going the other way.
Yep, this is Derman, middle linebacker. Scraping, filling, and key thing is bringing his feet once it makes contact. And Dorsey swarms in there and helps out. This is Zach to Bryce here.
This is one of the plays we were talking about. We're able to stretch the field a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Get a big play out of it.
Protection's good. Zach makes the right read, gets it to him.
Zach's at the bottom of your screen there in the slot.
Bryce had a pretty good game.
And he can run. He got down the field in a hurry.
Yeah, he's got good speed, got good hands. Here's Tavon again. Really, that looks like Banks to me running.
Yeah, that's the Banks
Yeah,
touchdown
that's
run.
Banks.
He's a junior, so he'll be back next
Yeah.
year. Here's another look at that run.
Just a tight angle. Makes a guy miss there in the secondary, which is always good. This is a good play here. They try a little trickery, and one guy missed the play, but had enough compadres coming to help him that we were able to get a little nervous when you set reverse in action, because you just worry that you guys aren't going to stay disciplined on the backside. But they
it looked like the kid wanted to throw the ball too, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was covered downfield. That's immediately where we looked, was downfield, thinking he was fixing to throw it. Here's Zach to Bryce again.
This is not the same play as a moment ago, but it looks like it.
No, it's a different route. Yeah, that's right.
It looked almost like it. Both of them wound up turning into points too, didn't they?
Yeah, I think we sustained a drive and got points out of that. Well, I think one of them, Little Bloss, kicked a pretty good field goal down there.
So that wasn't the same play.
No, it wasn't. You know,
shows you what I know.
That
okay?
time he was on the other side
All
of the
right.
safety, and the play before he was on this side of that safety. Same concept, just two different plays.
Now you're down 7 here, and you were down 17-3, and you're trying to rally in this game, and in fact you do that.
Yeah, I think this next play, right after that, we score 17-3 there, wasn't it?
17-3, then 17-10 after the Banks touchdown, and now you're down 17-10. You're driving to try to tie the ball game up.
Yeah, right here. I think we score right after Smiley gets down here. We score, and then that's when we miss the extra point, and we watch the film over and over and over, so you can't really tell what happened. I mean, we slow-moed it, and as close as we could get on the end zone view. It's Tavon scoring again.
And who you got in the backfield here? I'm trying to. Antron Henry, is he?
We got Antron Henry and Benson DeAndre.
Okay.
And then, of course, Tavon.
And who scores the touchdown?
Tavon does.
So what do you call this set?
That's our Raider set.
Raider set, okay.
Yeah, we'll be able to add more out of it. You know, we want something when we get short yardage that we can just pound them. And, you know, those two guys, Benson's pretty physical. And then Antron, we had Tristan there before. This is Riley to Bryce right here.
And Bryce had a very, very good ball game.
Yeah, he's a pretty good little player.
You know, those of you last year, this
Riley
young man,
did.
Riley, started most of the ball games for you.
Yep. This is a ball to Avery Cluess there. Of course, protection's good. That always helps.
But after you tied the ball game, they go up 31-16, and you're coming back here to try to make this game
Yeah.
interesting at the end. And a great catch, Marqueston Williams here.
Yeah, that ball's supposed to be a little wider where he's running away from the defender, but Marqueston does a good job going up and catching the football. When he catches this ball, he ought to be running out of bounds over here, so luckily he went up and made a good play on it.
Yeah, took it away from the defender because
Yeah.
they came down fighting for the ball. And as it turned out, that got you within 8 or an extra.
No, we missed. Yeah, we didn't get the extra point.
Didn't get the extra
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Anyway, you tried an onside kick, didn't get that, but the game ended 31-22. Coach, I guess the reality is now, with 4 games to go and the bye week, you kind of need to win 3 out of 4.
Got to win 3 out of 4. I mean, there's not, you know, really, and that doesn't guarantee anything. It just
Right.
depends on how this other stuff plays out. But really, that's in our mindset. We got to win 3 out of 4. Really, the biggest thing is you got to win the next football game.
Right.
And that way you don't put yourself in a hole, you know, having to win the last 3. And so, you know, looking going in, I thought North Mesquite and Rockwall and Heath and Mesquite and us were pretty even, and then Longview and Mesquite Horn were, you know, kind of the upper echelon of the district. So we've got 3 out of 4 that we're going to have to find a way to win.
Yeah, and that includes Rockwall coming up on October 11th. No, October the 18th, I believe.
A week from Friday.
A week from Friday. I'm trying to do my math
Yeah.
here. Anyway, you've got a bye week this week, and then you've got the road game at Rockwall. And they're all tough from here on out because Longview's still on the horizon, both the Rockwall schools. I mean, it's not an easy road.
No, there's not. And we knew, we were, like I said, going into this week, we knew, North Mesquite was 4-0 for a reason. And so, everybody in the districts had pretty good. I kept looking in the early weeks of the season, I kept looking and, the district went 6-1 one week and 5-2 one week and stuff like that. And some of those losses were, Longview losing one and stuff like that. So everybody's improved, but that's just part of it. We've got to find a way to get 3 victories. Continue really just every day to show up and try to improve day by day.
Now this bye week is, again, you say bye because it's not an off week. I mean, here there's plenty to do.
Yeah.
But you don't play this week. Does it come at a good time for you?
Yeah, get some of these little minor things. Get Zach's thigh healthy, and had one out with a concussion last week, and get him back, and then of course Amir was limping around the other night, so get him healthy, and just get us totally as healthy as we can get this time of year to get ready for that final push.
Does Teddy Matlock, your linebacker, is he done for the year?
Yeah, he had his surgery, and everything went well. In fact, he was there Friday night, had the surgery Thursday morning. He was there Friday night, so yeah, he's done. But good news is they got it fixed. It's all good, and he'll be ripping, tearing, ready to go by spring ball.
Yeah, good little ball player. Okay, so how do you handle a bye week? What kinds of things can you get done this week?
Well, today, we're going to go ahead and come in today. Typically on Mondays you don't come in, but we've got so much to do that we told them, Friday night, basically told them we're going to come in Monday, the varsity was, and we're going to do some film watching and special teams, and we didn't make them come in on Saturday. Normally they come up here on Saturdays and watch film and lift and stuff, so we gave them the weekend off, and today we'll come in and not going to be there long, keep them about an hour and a half, just to get some productive stuff done and still let their bodies heal. So we're not going to be in pads, not going to beat each other up today or tomorrow, and by Wednesday we'll start kind of working on some Rockwall stuff, and Monday and Tuesday is going to be more about us. Special teams got to continue to work on our kick coverage. Bloss did a good job finally the other night of pooching the football, and then our coverage didn't do very good, and so really there's got to be something you can do after you score a touchdown to where when you can't kick it out of the end zone, you got to be able to do something where you don't give them a chance to run the football back and get great field position. So we really got to work hard on that. I thought Paxton did a good job the other night punting the football away from that kid, and I think he averaged 46 yards a punt the other night, so that was big. Yeah,
I was thinking after you got within one Friday night, as I recall, I'm trying to remember the sequence, they got a long kickoff, fairly long kickoff return.
They had a good return on a good pooch kick, and that's those coverage guys. And what's bad is we went through last weekend and said, hey, forget getting some of these guys some rest on this stuff. We got to put the best tacklers we got out there, and so we had our best tacklers out there, and they still, they don't stay disciplined, stay in their lanes. They get bunched up, create alleys, and those guys will find them.
Yeah, that's and it's amazing now that these kids are so good at that, are they not? I mean, there was a time when maybe you could have gotten away with that, but these kids are so advanced now. It's hard, right?
They just got so many guys that they put their best guys over there, and you get them in space, and if you give them some angles and you don't fit just perfect in your lanes, then those athletes are so good that they're putting back there. We can't find anybody. There's not any of you or I back there, returning kicks where they can kick it to us, knowing we're not going to run, for a touchdown. But you just got to find a way to stay in your lanes and cover. I mean, it happens. People do it to us all the time. Before Bloss is done, he'll be able to get it to the end zone. Right now, he struggles getting it to the end zone, which even gives him more field to run. When you try to kick it deep. So. We'll just, he's sophomore. He'll get better and get a stronger leg as we go also.
If you were going to talk about surprise teams, would North Mesquite kind of be one of those teams that may be better than some thought so
far?
I
think so. They're 5-0 for a reason.
Yeah.
You can talk about their competition they've played or whatever. That's what Coach Robinson, when I was talking about how good they were doing before we played them, he tried to sandbag and say, well, we hadn't played anybody. But if you're undefeated, you're undefeated. It doesn't matter, who you've played. Your kids have confidence, believe in themselves. So It'll be. I suspect it'll be a good game between them and Rockwall this week.
And just an overview of yeah, I know you're a little frustrated right now, but still 3-3 is a big improvement over last year. There's signs.
Well, we're better. We're better, but and like I say, we got off to that good start. So we're no different than the average fan. At times, we get kind of hopeful and excited. Hey, this is going to be that miraculous, Cinderella deal, and really the only way I know how to do it is just hard work, showing up every day, and just getting after it, and getting guys to where they think about the right things. Being an athlete and being in the classroom, not scrambling around the last week to get my grades up and all that, and not worried about what I have on and how pretty I look, but just how good a football player I am, and we'll get better at that and hammering that kind of stuff into them. But yeah, we're better. We're better. There's no doubt we're better. And like I say, the good start got us all so excited that now it's where you find out how successful you're going to be in life. When you get frustrated and you get down, what do? Do you fold your tents, or you just show up every day and find a way to get it done?
Is the biggest challenge mental or physical right now?
I think it's mental.
Yeah.
I thought it was mental all along.
Yeah.
We've got step one done. The first mental part we had to do is learn not to quit, which I thought we did some last year. And so we got that down. So now it's going to be to work every day to be as good as you can be.
And then Rockwall coming up. Give me kind of an overview if you can. What do you know about those guys?
Well, I think they lost the Warren kid, who's just phenomenal.
Their running back.
That big time running back. Dad played for the Seahawks back in the day, but I think they've got a pretty good replacement. They got after Horn the other night. It was 35-32. Horn was up, and then I think Rockwall threw a pick six, and then Mesquite, I think Horn scored one late to make it at 49-32 at the end. But Rockwall, they got after them good, even without the Warren kid. So they're going to be really. I thought they were. I think they're picked third by most of the guys doing the picking. So they're going to be a formidable opponent even without Warren.
Kind of an unusual situation. A coach changes jobs within the district. Rodney Webb went from Mesquite Horn to Rockwall. That's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, and of course they had some good young talent coming up last year. That Warren kid, and they had a little freshman last year, linebacker that was really good. But I think his wife already worked over at Rockwall. Yeah. She taught at Rockwall. I think they lived in Rockwall.
Oh, okay.
And so, at first you kind of thought, knowing
that's still unusual, though.
Well, knowing what he had coming back.
Yeah.
And so, but you don't know all the insides, and he's got to do what he thinks best for his family, and he thinks that's the best move, and then you got to applaud him for it.
Yeah, but if you go out and beat him next week, then maybe he's rethinking that. That'd be a good thing to do,
that'd be nice. But he's got some good young ones over there, and got a good school system for his kids and stuff like that. So, I don't know if you never know what is in each guy's mind. So he's doing a good job over there, and I'm sure there's a lot of internal thoughts going on last week when he's battling that Horn team that he left, and I'm sure they wanted to beat Coach and that kind of thing. So it's going to be tough next week.
Need a win.
We got to have a win.
All right. And again, the Red Raiders are on the road. Again, that game is a week from this coming Friday night. Again, the ball game is at Rockwall. And again, that game is coming up a week from Friday night. That would be the 18th of October as the Red Raiders continue district play at Rockwall against the Yellow Jackets. Again, Robert E. Lee looking for a win. They need and deserve your support on the road coming up a week from Friday night following a bye week this week. For Coach Piske, I'm Bill Coates. Thanks for joining us.